Welcome back to the Floating Head Chronicles. I hope you have not eaten today, because if you have, this one might be hard to digest. This here is Tyree Smith out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Now, this man was committed to psychiatric hospital for up to 60 years for unaliving his victim with a... Before doing what? What did he do? You know? Brief pause for a moment. All right, let's put that aside for a second. But he did have a written decision issued on Friday from the Connecticut Psychiatric Security Review Board. And they decided that he will be eligible for release. What? Now, the board previously determined that Mr. Smith has demonstrated long-term stability, remained engaged in all his recommended treatments, and consistently followed his care plan. His release will be conditional, ensuring that he remains under structured supervision and continues receiving the necessary mental health services. Okay, so let's just get back to that. So, dude ate an eyeball and stated that it tasted like oysters. And let's not even mention the brain. What? So we're just putting him back in society. I know I preach all the time about mental health, and I say that we don't do enough here in the United States. But this is really showing the very bare minimum here. We're like, you know what? We can't afford to keep him locked up here. So we're just going to send Captain Psycho back out in society because he's been doing good for 10 years. Now, before he's being considered for conditional release, individuals go through temporary leave process where they remain under hospital supervision while gradually increasing their time in the community. Good luck to the people of Connecticut, because we got Jeffrey Dahmer on the loose, and no one seems to find this fucking strange. Now, my favorite part. Rehabilitation, not punishment, is the goal for all individuals found not guilty by reason of insanity. So we could just go out here, just eat people's eyeballs and brains and talk about how it tastes like oysters, and that's totally fine. We're totally fine with that, okay? We think that that's okay to just... I mean, I've seen some people do some shit in my time, but it's never been eating humans. That is where we really have to question what we're doing here. We wait until something else happens and then go back and see this dude did what he did prior? How do you know that the voices in his head that he was having aren't telling him to lie to you? You know, just saying, just throwing it out there. I don't trust this shit. This is fucking crazy. Now, how do they tell you you're going to be stuck on there for 60 years and then let you out 10 years later? And so here you see the man, Angel Gonzalez, rest in peace to him. They found him in an abandoned building on January 20th of 2012. Severe wounds to his face and head. Now, 3 days later, Smith's cousin, Nicole, told the police that Smith had arrived to her house in mid-December and said he had to get blood on his hands. He was going to Beardsley Park and his former home. The next day, he returned with blood on his pants and carrying an axe, saying he wanted to take a bath. Now, Smith had stated that he was sleeping on a second-floor porch when the victim invited him to the third floor to get out of the cold. So this man offered him warmth and protection while he was sleeping on the porch. And this is what happened. Guys, what the fuck? Now, the doctor that specializes in psychiatry had mentioned that he was granted his first overnight stay, and he was spending 7 days a week away from the facility. She stated he had spent the last 9 months full-time in the community at a facility with 24/7 supervision. So no longer at the hospital, just in a, reform program, trying to get him ready for society. He made remarkable progress in dealing with his diagnosed condition of schizophrenia, which she said he's been in remission since he got the corrected medication. So in the past 7 years, he's not experienced any periods of psychosis, delusions, paranoia, or desires to hurt anyone. He's no longer hearing voices, and, all is well. It's totally fine now. Schizophrenia, yes, I know a lot of people that have had some issues and been diagnosed, and they do very well when they're on medication, but they do go through these spurts where they just don't take it anymore, or all these things, and then things happen. Now, this man has already done something so disgusting and heinous. We're willing to take that gamble and roll the dice and say good luck, and hopefully this doesn't happen again? Meanwhile, people are in prison right now for the rest of their life for some dumbass shit. But we just let these guys out. But of course, here we go. He was using substances at the time. He struggled. And that's another excuse of why this is okay. Oh, because at that time he was under the influence. So that's why he ate an eyeball and a brain. Because, I've also known a lot of people that have had issues like that. And they don't go around doing these things. So that's another excuse that you just can't quite make here. But you guys, he's remorseful about what happened. Guy offers him a place to stay, and he decides to eat his brain and eyeball. Like nothing. The fact that even came into your brain, you didn't even cook it. The fuck? Guys, I'm having a trouble with this one. Now, Talitha, Gonzalez's sister, the victim's sister, spoke before the board, and she represented the entire family, saying that the family was unaware of a previous hearing when the restrictions against Smith were loosened, a decision she would thought that she would have an option to oppose. But she said that she was calling the hospital for 5 years, and they kept telling her, hey, he's not going anywhere. Stop calling. Don't worry. He's fine. And then one day she opens up social media and sees a news story about it. Then you get to find out the guy that did this to your brother, who was only trying to be helpful, now is never coming back, but this guy is getting released. Like, could you imagine the feelings that this family has? Because I feel some sort of way, and I'm not related. Now, the family has extreme safety concerns and has pursued protective order measures against Smith. She said the family also believes the voices in his head could be telling him to lie to doctors. How do we really know that he's not going to do this again? And this is a very reasonable question. And how do you not tell the people of his family or anybody else that this is going to happen, so that way they have a chance to prepare themselves mentally and physically? They feel there was no justice in committing Smith to the hospital for 60 years and then allowing him to leave after 10. And she states, I don't want to see anything bad happen to this man, but I don't want anything bad to happen to another person either. And that is just crazy to me, that obviously the family has got good values, because her brother tried to help him. This is what happened. And she's even saying, hey, I don't want nothing bad to happen to him. However, I don't feel like he's safe to be amongst the regular society. And I don't think so either, ma'am. Now, rest in peace to Angel Gonzalez. This was Tyree's victim. I'm sorry you had to go out in such a zombie apocalyptic form. We've watched a lot of Walking Dead and crazy stuff like that, and never did we think that this would really be a thing. But here we are. I hope that everybody in Connecticut is prepared, and please know your surroundings. Take a look. Stay away from this guy, because I still think he's a danger to everybody. That could be just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. You let me know in the comment section, because I can't make it make sense, y'all. I feel like I say that every time because I really can't wrap my brain around it. No pun intended. But I'm just at a loss of words here. Now, has anybody else heard about this? Like, I feel like this was news to me. I didn't even hear about this case until I started going on a deep rabbit hole and super confused at how the system is failing again. It's hard to live in the US, y'all. But like I said, drop me some comments, hit all the buttons. Hope y'all have a beautiful day.